Now, it's time to meet the players of college sports today, presented by the Allen Law Firm, and get this show started. He's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a first-round NFL draft choice, and a member of the College Football Hall of Fame as both a player and coach. He is the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. He's a rare two-time SEC Player of the Year and spent over a decade in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Matthews. And presenting the host of the show, with over 25 years of sports broadcasting experience, Terry Norvelle. Coming to you from the Future Home Loan Studio inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grille, it's time for College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle. Presented by the Allen Law Firm.
It is week 7 of the college football season. We are glad you're with us here on College Sports Today inside Coach Spurrier's podcast room, inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, inside the Future Home Loans Studios. We are bringing you College Sports Today presented by the Allen Law Firm. Coach Steve Spurrier's here. Shane Matthews joins us in about 5 to 10 minutes for our Safe Harbor Seafood Picks of the Week. Coach, starting the second half of the season, you know, in the offseason, when we all looked at schedules, that's what we do in the offseason. We circle dates and circle Saturdays. October 16th, tomorrow. Anybody that knows anything about the SEC would have said, man, that October 16th, the big game of the SEC will be Florida LSU. No, it's Georgia, Kentucky, not Florida LSU.
Who would ever thought that, huh? Yeah, Kentucky has managed to go 6-0. And the Bulldogs are, what, 5 or 6-0?
6-0?
Like that.
Couple 6-0s going at it.
That's right. They've pretty much clobbered everybody.
Really have.
And Kentucky, of course, beat LSU pretty good last week. So it should be a heck of a game, but the Dogs are heavily favored.
They are heavily favored, something like 22-23, I guess. You know, Kentucky, 2 good wins recently, both in the cozy confines of Lexington. They had those last 2 games, so they'll take it on the road. They're a physical team, but boy, there's going to be 92,000 strong in Sanford Stadium tomorrow. Should be a hell of a game. That's the 3:30. The nooner of note in the SEC, Coach, and we'll pick these games here in a moment with our Safe Harbor Seafood Picks of the game. The nooner, Florida travels to Baton Rouge. It's a noon game. I think that's win Florida right there. Just the fact that it's not a night game, that helps a little bit. LSU, a lot of injuries, some opt-outs. Coach O is just hanging on by a thread if you listen to most of even the LSU media people. I know LSU came in fractured last year to Gainesville and beat Florida. It seems like the program's in worse shape around LSU, but Florida's got to go take care of business tomorrow.
Yeah, certainly it appears that us Gators are heavily favored. But LSU, we've been playing them, I think, well, I know when I was in school in the 60s, we played them every year. And they were our common opponent when we went divisions. So it's a every-year game. Rivalry, no, it's not like Florida, Georgia, but it's up there amongst the schools that we want to beat, and they want to beat us. So LSU will be pumped up. Gosh, they beat us last year. Nobody gave them a chance.
That's exactly right.
So they got a chance to beat us if they play extremely well, and we don't.
Exactly right. Coach, you've played, you've coached many a game in Tiger Stadium, some in the daytime, I'm assuming, some at night. Big difference, that day-night thing in a special stadium like that. Is this a palpable advantage for Florida, being a early day game as opposed to night game?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people say that and think if you get them in the daytime, their fans are not as much in the game as they are at night. So it could be a factor. I don't know. I'm thinking about when we played them there, when Saban was coaching, we got them there in a day game and beat them 44-15. So maybe the daytime helped us. I'm not sure. And then the game we lost there, the only one in '97, was a night game.
Was a night ball.
So, but you know, stuff happens. I wouldn't blame it on day or night. It just the way it worked out.
I'll tell the story. I'll tell it real quick here. Being in the media 25, 30 years, I've only been to Tiger Stadium covering 2 games, 2 Florida at LSU games when you were coaching. And I still to this day neither game I feel like I experienced Tiger Stadium because, Coach, you guys beat them. They were day games. Both of them were day games, and it was one of those you referenced. One game we barely got in the press box, and I think it was Grossman hitting Gaffney for touchdowns left and right. But, Coach, I never really experienced it because you beat them so bad, and they were day games. You guys beat them so bad.
Yeah, the game with Rex there in 2001, I mean, every pass he threw was perfect almost.
Yeah.
And we beat them 44-15, I think was the final, and Rex set school record for passing yards. And I remember asking Will Muschamp, he was on that staff.
Okay.
And Saban was the head coach. And I said, was Saban mad at the defense for giving up all those passing yards? He said, not really. He said the guys were playing their assignments. I mean, they were where they're supposed to be, and Rex was just putting it, in the seam area, in the cover two hole areas. Yeah. I mean, every throw was just about perfect that day. And so anyway, he wasn't too upset. He just and LSU came back and won the SEC that year. That's the year Tennessee beat us in last game, and Tennessee sort of maybe got full of themselves. And LSU was SEC champ and had a big year.
Yeah, had a big year. Yeah. So a little bit later when we get to the picks, obviously we will get even more in-depth with Florida LSU. We'll have Shane Matthews on, and we'll do our Safe Harbor Seafood picks of the week. And obviously we'll pick the Florida LSU and Georgia, Kentucky. So we'll get back to those games. Coach, before we take our first break, some kind of just look-arounds quickly at the SEC and the national scope, couple of topics, and then we'll go to break. You'll go around the SEC. Interesting game, should be a lot of fun. Ole Miss and Tennessee. Ole Miss is ranked 13th in the nation. I don't think they're the 13th best team in the country, but they're 13th. That should be a lot of fun. We won't pick it until a little bit later, but that should be a fun one out of the SEC.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think Tennessee's going to pack Neyland Stadium there. Yeah. They're fired up there. They're 4-2 and got a chance to maybe be 5-2.
Yeah.
And of course, Kiffin, used to coach at Tennessee a couple of years or so.
Sure.
So it'll be really loud in Knoxville.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. I think that's a night game. We'll pick that in a little bit. But, yeah, Tennessee, really since the Florida game, Tennessee, they're playing well. They just feel like they believe in their coach for the first time in years. And the fan base is coming back a little bit. I agree with all that you say, Coach Spurrier. Some quiet, undefeated teams looking at the national landscape. I tell you, I don't know if anybody really realizes. Everybody knows Oklahoma's undefeated, but they're just scraping by. Oklahoma State is still undefeated. They've got a big game with Texas. I don't know if everybody realizes Michigan and Michigan State are both undefeated. There's still a lot of undefeated teams out there.
Yeah, both of those states, Oklahoma and Michigan, they got to be fired up about both their schools. Oklahoma State plays Texas this week. So
good game.
If they can beat Texas, they'll be in the hunt to win the Big 12, definitely.
Yeah, they will. And, I was just kind of peeking ahead. There's still a lot of football. This is week 7. We got to go through 13 weeks, I guess, because there's 12 games in a bye week. So we got 13 regular season weeks. I was kind of peeking ahead, though. Oklahoma State is undefeated. Oklahoma is still undefeated. They play the Bedlam game, their annual Bedlam game. It is the last weekend. And if I'm thinking this through, the Big 12 sends the top 2 teams. They're not in divisions.
That's right.
Those guys could play back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, they could.
They could play back-to-back weeks. Quickly, your old stomping grounds, the ACC. Wake Forest is the only one undefeated, right? Wake Forest is still the only one undefeated. They've got a date with Clemson late November. Wake Forest playing pretty good football right now. They're a pretty good football team.
They're the toast of the ACC.
They really are.
Pretty much. They got a lot of momentum up there, and they may continue and be a factor to win the ACC.
I know they've got Clemson. They're in the same division. I think they've also still got North Carolina, but North Carolina has really had, Coach, a disappointing season by what a lot of people expected.
Oh, they're picked top 10 in the nation. I think 9th or something like that.
I think you're right, Coach.
And what are they, 3-3?
Yeah.
And lost to FSU last week, and FSU beat them. It wasn't just a fluke thing. They beat them. I think Mac Brown has never beaten FSU, and that's where he went to school. Do you know that?
I think it's like 0-11.
Yeah, 0-11.
0-11.
And they certainly thought they were going to beat them this year, but FSU, they got that new quarterback that can run around and make some plays.
Yeah, Jordan Travis,
They went up to Chapel Hill and came out a winner.
Last topic before we break, we'll then get Shane Matthews on, and we'll go through our Safe Harbor Seafood picks of the week here on the College Sports Today show presented by Allen Law Firm, coming to you from the Future Home Loans Studios. Coach, we'll get to this in a little bit. Alabama, we talked Monday, coming off their first loss of the season. Boy, Coach Saban hasn't lost 2 in a season in a long, long time. They go to Mississippi State, right? Yeah. So they got to chase a lot of crossing routes Saturday. Will we know a lot about Alabama after this game? Will we really know? I mean,
yeah, possibly. Sometimes that one loss shakes up a team, and then they're able to go from there. I think back to our 93, 94 SEC championship teams. Those teams lost to Auburn by field goal, sort of a funky 38-35, 36-33, and Alabama got beat 41-38. So they may regroup and run the table. That's what they're planning on doing. But we'll see if Mississippi State can pull the upset.
Yeah, Mississippi State's this year's Mississippi State team is a lot better than last year's. I think they play salty defense. They play a little defense in Starkville this year.
They're a good defensive team.
Yeah, they're hard.
They're a very good defensive team. And I think Mississippi State's running the ball a little bit better. But hopefully their 3rd and 1s and being on the 1 and 2 yard line, maybe they got some better plays because sometimes that's their nemesis.
As we go to break, I want to remind people that tomorrow the Gator game's at noon. Pre-game, multiple hours, and one of our platform partners here on College Sports Today. You can watch our show on the 1010XL Facebook page, which a lot of you people are doing right now. The big station out of Jacksonville. Just want to plug those guys for carrying this show, and obviously they are the Gator outlet in North Florida. So remember now, high noon, they'll kick that thing off. Florida's last trip to LSU when they played at noon, I believe, was that 2016 game. The goal line stand, and Florida won the East. When they stopped Darius Geis at the goal line, that was a 12:01 kickoff because that was the game that was moved because of the hurricane and the ADs got arguing. They moved it to late November or in November.
I was actually at that game.
Were you?
Yeah, we flew on the team plane to that one and so forth. And, before the game, they were out there having a little scuffle, the LSU players and the Florida guys. I think arguing about who's DBU.
Sure.
They like to claim that's their title on each school.
Yeah.
So there was some pushing and shoving, but it was a good game, and I think we threw like a 98-yard touchdown
98.
pass.
Tyree Cleveland caught it from
Appleby. From Appleby.
Yes.
Appleby was one of our guys with the Apollos.
I know you love that call. Backed up,
get
in the end zone and pitch
2-yard
it.
line.
If they intercept, it's a punt. Make the tackle.
I think LSU played bump and run, and he made the catch and went the distance. So that was a big play in the game. But we had that goal line stand that won the game for the Gators that day.
What a game. What a game.
And that was a day game also.
That was what I was saying. That was a 12:01 kickoff. Yeah, that was a day game because they wanted to play it and get Florida back home because the game was supposed to be played in Gainesville. Yeah. That was scheduled for Gainesville, and all the arguing back and forth. Break time. Let's take a quick break here on College Sports Today. We'll get reconvened. We'll have Shane Matthews, and it is time for the picks. You pay attention. We'll try and win you guys some money. You can copy our picks if you want. It is the Safe Harbor Seafood Picks of the Week coming up next on College Sports Today.
Ever heard the saying, all politics are local? I believe the same goes for lawyers. To me, it doesn't matter how many lawyers any firm has spread across the country. What matters is who's the lawyer right here, right now. I'm Bill Allen. I've spent my whole career fighting big insurance companies for my friends and neighbors right here in North Central Florida. If you've been hurt and don't know who to trust, I would be honored to help you and your family against any opponent, anytime, anywhere. Call me 24/7.
The good vibes. What? All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
It's time to thank the sponsors that make college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle possible. Vida de Louis Tequila, the official tequila of college sports today. Make sure you ask for Vida de Louis Tequila by name in your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida. And of course, with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle can be found up and down the northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development. Go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle, simply shoot me an email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvelle, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Special thanks to all those wonderful sponsors you saw a moment ago that make this show happen. Vida de Louis, you know all the guys, Sliders, and Safe Harbor Seafood, who's about to sponsor our picks segment. You know them all, J.B. Coxwell Contracting. We're inside the Future Home Loan Studios. Boy, they've been doing it for well over 4 years. The fastest growing mortgage company in really the Southeast. If you're looking to get into a home refinance, they do it all, Future Home Loans. And always want to thank the Allen Law Firm, offices in Gainesville and Ocala. How to get in touch with Allen Law Firm? Very, very simple. Talk to an expert by just picking up your phone. Hit pound, yes, pound YES gets you through to the good folks at Allen Law Firm. Coach Spurrier's here. I'm Terry Norvelle. We got Shane Matthews dialed up. It is time for some picks. Coach, let's get our headphones on and say hello to Mr. Shane Matthews. Shane, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, guys. How are y'all?
We are hanging in there. I guess you're a few hours away from jumping on a plane. You're on the call again for Florida at LSU, correct?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm 0 for 1, so this may be my last trip if we don't win.
Yes, so Coach Spurrier's 0 for 1. He says he lost that Kentucky game.
Yeah, they may not put him on the plane if we lose to LSU.
Yeah, he may not go back. Yeah. Real quick for everybody out there watching, last week we all were 4-6. Nobody did a whole lot of anything. We all kind of stayed where we're at, 4-6 week. Shane, you and I have got 41 correct on the season. Coach is right behind us at 38. We're about halfway through, and then we'll get into the bowl games, and we will go from there. But let's get going, Coach Spurrier. Let you go first. You want to go first?
It doesn't matter. Arizona State, Utah?
Arizona State, Utah. Arizona State quietly 18th in the nation. They're 5-1, 3-0 in conference. Their only loss was to a good BYU team, even though BYU lost last week. Utah, by the way, if the schedules aren't readjusted, if Oklahoma and Texas don't come in, the schedules may get readjusted because of that, if that happens. Utah rolls into Gainesville as the season opener next year. Utah's good. That's a good program.
They have been very good out there. This year they've struggled a bit.
Yeah, they're 3-2. Utah is 3-2 this year, but their losses are to their two losses: a good BYU team and San Diego State, who's been ranked the last 3 or 4 weeks. Two good teams have beaten Utah.
And their coach, Kyle Willingham, has been there something like 15 years.
Yes.
You know, he followed Urban.
He followed
when Urban came here in 2005.
Good West Coast game, Coach. 10 p.m. ESPN, Arizona State at Utah. How do you see it?
I'm going to go with Herm Edwards and his Arizona State team. They seem to have picked up some momentum and are winning right now, but I'm telling you, Utah could win it just as easy. But I'll go with Arizona State.
Shane, Coach goes Arizona State. That's a tough one on the West Coast to lead things off. Man, Shane, two pretty good teams going at it.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's the Pac-12 is hard to figure out.
Really is.
Utah, I think, has been somewhat of a disappointment, but I'm gonna lean to Utah at home, pulling the upset since Arizona State, I believe they're still ranked.
Oh yeah, Arizona State's 18th in the nation, 5-1. Utah 3-2. But again, all three losses between these two teams are to good teams. I mean, these teams have lost a few games to good teams. I'm going to ride Shane for the exact same reason, home field. I'm just going home field. I think this is a close game. Shane, I'll let you lead off game number 2. We jump into the ACC. Boy, Miami doesn't seem like they've played in a long time, and the last time they played, they stunk it up. Miami 2-3, 0-1, now on, I guess, their third-string quarterback. King is out. Garcia would have been 2. They're down to Van Dyke. Miami, 3:30 ACC Network at North Carolina, Shane. The Tar Heels are really reeling. Florida State put a number on the Tar Heels. How do you see this one at Chapel Hill?
Well, I don't really see it being a very good game to watch, and I think North Carolina's got to be one of the most disappointing teams in America. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Miami somehow wins this game.
Wow, Miami, they need it. Manny Diaz needs it. They do not need to go to 2-4. I'm going to go against you there, Shane. I'm going to buy into North Carolina for at least 1 week. Very, very disappointing, but they're at home. Sam Howell may pick apart Miami's defense. I'll go Miami. Coach Spurrier, ACC game, Miami at North Carolina.
Yeah, somebody's got to win it, and somebody's going to lose again. So I'm going to go with the Tar Heels because they're at home.
UNC, Coach, you and I like UNC at home. Shane on a little bit of a limb, I guess, going with Miami. I'll take the next ACC game. A quiet, pretty fun, pretty good football team with a quarterback that's putting up huge numbers. The Pitt Panthers, 4-1, 1-0. Their only loss was to Western Michigan, and people wrote them off. Western Michigan's pretty damn good. They are pretty good. They beat Pitt earlier. Pitt's on the road at Virginia Tech. I still don't know how Virginia Tech lost last week to Notre Dame. They really dominated that game and gave it away. Virginia Tech 3-2, 1-0. I'm going to go. I'll lead this one off, guys. I'll take. I like the quarterback Pickett at Pitt. They play hard-nosed football. I'll take Pitt on the road to Coach Spurrier. Pitt at Virginia Tech, Coach.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh also.
Okay.
Their quarterback, Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
Man, he might win the Heisman this year.
Good numbers.
You know, his stats are unbelievable. I think he's broken Marino's records there at Pittsburgh. So they may be getting hot at the right time. Teams, get better or worse as the season goes, and it seems like Pittsburgh's really getting better.
Shane Matthews, you got a chance now to jump in and grab a game if you feel confident, but boy, the Hokies, they just haven't won a big game in a while. They're at home taking on Pitt. How do you see it, Shane?
I'm with y'all. I like Pitt. Did y'all know that the Pitt Panthers have the highest scoring offense in college football right now?
They're fun. They are fun.
They're
Pickett
averaging
throws it
51
around.
points a game.
Yeah, this Kenny Pickett guy, I've seen him. He came in when he was a young kid, got thrown in way ahead of time. He's a sixth-year guy, I believe. He's been there forever. And, Shane, you know it. I think you've seen them a lot. When the play is executed, he's good. He can really throw the ball. He's also very athletic. He keeps plays alive, and he makes things happen, and he's fun to watch. If you haven't watched Pitt play football, if you get a chance, take a look at that. But we all like Pitt across the board. Shane, back to you. We'll stay in the ACC. Another quiet team. They're ranked 22nd in the nation. They've been ranked all year. They are the NC State Wolfpack. North Carolina State, 4-1 overall, 1-0 in the ACC. They are at Boston College. This is a tough game. BC, 4-1, 0-1. BC's only loss against Clemson, 19-13. 19-13 at Clemson. North Carolina State's only loss, Coach Spurrier, I'll let you pick this one first, was to Mississippi State. This is a tough pick as well. NC State at Boston College.
Yeah, it's a pick'em game, in my opinion. They're both got the same record, correct?
Yeah, 4-1.
4-1. I tell you what, I'm just going to take NC State because I like their coach. I know him. I don't know the coach at the other school.
I got you. Jeff Heffley, I believe, is the guy at BC by way of Clemson, and then obviously Dave Doran. I'll go next, and I'll go NC State as well. I'll take a road team. Boy, Shane, Boston College. They're still that tough brand of football, and I thought they whooped up on Missouri pretty good, even though the game got in overtime a few weeks ago. I'll take NC State, but this is a tough one. BC has played good football under this new coach the last 2 years.
Yeah, I'm going to take BC since they're at home. It's kind of a toss-up, so I'll just stick with the home team.
Tough games, I'll tell you, so far. That's 4. We'll go to game number 5 of 10. Back to the SEC. Mississippi State at home. The Bulldogs 3-2 overall, 1-1 in SEC play. Mississippi State, their 2 losses, Memphis and LSU. They host Alabama. Alabama obviously coming off the loss. We don't say that very often. This is a night game in Starkville, 7 o'clock ESPN. I'll lead off. I'll go with Bama. We'll probably all go with Bama. But, boy, you got to kind of pay attention a little bit, Shane, in this game. I think we'll know a lot about Bama after this game, won't we?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a. I mean, Alabama, you got to think they're going to come ready to play. But I tell you, Mississippi State, they're kicking themselves right now for losing that one game to LSU. They shouldn't have lost it, but I'm going to go with Alabama. I think it's going to be a good game to watch, though.
And Coach Spurrier, to you, don't forget, Mississippi State lost that game to LSU, made a comeback, and now you look at it and you say, damn, they probably should have beat LSU. Don't forget, their other loss, Coach Spurrier, was to Memphis in that wacky game that was officiated wrong. Remember all the crazy calls on that punt return and all? Yeah. So Mississippi State's kicking themselves with 2 losses, but Big Bad Bama rolls in. How do you see it, Coach?
Well, Alabama's certainly heavily favored, but I'm going to go with Mississippi State. Mississippi State beat Texas A&M. Texas A&M beat
good.
Alabama.
It's good.
So logically, Mississippi State should beat Alabama, so right?
Coach goes out on a limb, may steal one. Shaney may steal one from us there. We'll see.
Coach sounds like the fans right there. They beat them, so they should beat those guys.
Yeah, that's common sense, isn't it, Shane? And now what I think would be neat, of course, if Mississippi State gets the upset, the fans will rush the field.
They will.
They're not worried about that fine of 100,000, whatever it is. So, in fact, I heard Rick Neuheisel say the other day when Texas A&M won the game and rushed the field after beating Bama.
Right.
He said that's only $1 a fan. They had 100,000 there.
What a great line.
They had 104,000, so he said that's less than $1 a fan. So
that may
it's
be
worth it. Yeah.
That may be the college broadcaster line of the year so far. Only $1 a fan. Hey, and they'll pass the hat around if they had to.
That's right.
That fan be glad to pay. Shane, we'll let you lead off the next game. It's an SEC game, but before Coach talked about rushing the field. 2 things to me have been the personality of college football this year, and I'm being fun and silly a little bit here. This has been the year of the rush the field.
Yeah.
And B, Shane, this has been the year of the false start. You can't watch a game anywhere in college football without at least one team having 1,000 false starts.
And I tell you what, that home field crowd makes a difference now. They said it was so loud at A&M that Alabama couldn't hear their signals or anything. And I know that year we beat Alabama. It was at home. We couldn't have beat them at their place. Probably wouldn't have had a chance. But things sometimes happen at your place when that crowd gets behind you. So maybe that Mississippi State crowd can make a difference.
It makes you wonder. Obviously, there was one blip on the crowd situation last year that we didn't have full stadiums. Did not playing in front of the huge crowds have that much of an effect, but every game you watch has got one team having 1,000 false starts. Shane, we digressed. Auburn, after getting thumped pretty good, I thought it was pretty expected, but Auburn got thumped pretty good as the game went on against Georgia. They've got a high noon on CBS at Arkansas. Arkansas's 2 losses, Georgia and Ole Miss. They were shut out in 1 loss, and they scored 51 in another loss. And, of course, Auburn scuffling around. Shane, Auburn at Arkansas, kind of a tough game.
Yeah, it is. It's, both these teams need to win this game. I really like the way Arkansas's played all year. I cannot trust Bo Nix. And, I can't remember exactly. When I was watching the game last week, I think Neuheisel called that game. Did he not, Coach? It was the Auburn.
Yes.
Whoever Auburn played.
Yes.
Yeah.
Neuheisel was on the call early because they had the number 1 crew. Danielson and the boys were the night game.
Right. So
That's right.
I can't. He didn't say Bo Nix plays like real spastic, but he says his feet are moving way faster than his mind works.
Yeah.
And he doesn't let anything develop. I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but I was like, that is perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect scenario for him. He's all over the place. So anyway, I'm going with Arkansas at home.
So I'll go Arkansas as well at home. And, Auburn, as a lot of people want to bury them, they do have 2 losses. They've lost to 2 pretty good teams, though, Georgia and Penn State. Penn State's pretty damn good. Coach, how do you see it? Auburn on the road. Both teams, as Shane mentioned, really need a win. The winner can still carve out a really nice season. The loser's spiraling a little bit. How do you see it, Coach?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Arkansas also. I think they're a little bit more settled in what they want to do than Auburn right now. And Arkansas is at home, and their crowd, they're fired up now.
Yeah.
They're going to get behind them also.
I think they will. They'll welcome their team back after they lost in Oxford, but I think that Arkansas crowd was proud of their team as they fought and fought and fought, went for 2. I agree with you. I think that Arkansas crowd in Fayetteville will really receive their homeboys good, if you know what I mean. We are right in the middle of our Safe Harbor Seafood Picks of the Week. Shane Matthews via telephone. Coach Spurrier's here. I'm Terry Norvelle. Let's finish them off here. We stay in the SEC, and we've talked about it a little bit. 7:30 SEC Network. A pretty entertaining game, I think. Ole Miss 4-1, 1-1. Ole Miss's only loss was to Alabama. They're still sitting there with only one loss. 13th in the nation. I'm not sure they're the 13th best team. Ole Miss at Tennessee. Coach Spurrier, I'll let you go first. Tennessee 4-2. Tennessee's 2 losses to a pretty good Pitt team and to a pretty good Florida team. How do you see it?
I'm going to go with the Tennessee Volunteers, my home state of Tennessee. And those guys seem to have momentum right now. And again, I think the crowd there at Rocky Top will make the difference.
Yeah, I'm with you, Coach. I'm going to ride Coach as well, Shane. Tennessee in what should be a terribly entertaining game. And Shane, help me out. I know Ole Miss has got 1 loss and they're sitting 13th. They're not the 13th best team in the nation, Shane. How do you see this one?
No, they still can't stop anybody. I mean, we all thought they were real good early in the year, but their defense is horrible. This should be a fun game to watch. Since Coach is going with his home state, I'll go with my home state.
There you go.
Dad's team.
My!
That's as good a reason as any.
I think Tennessee's going to win the game, but I'm going to pick Ole Miss only because of Matt Corral. I think he's the best player that's going to be on the field.
Yep.
But it would not shock me if Tennessee wins this game.
I don't know. I think it's a close spread. I don't follow the spreads that much, but I mean, this is a toss-up game. It really is. It should be fun as hell to watch this thing. Couple really good offenses and not great defense. So Coach goes Tennessee. I go Tennessee. Shane Matthews goes Ole Miss. Somebody's going to pick up a game here on a couple of us here. We go to the Big 12. Interesting game. I don't know if half the college football world even knows Oklahoma State is undefeated. They're 5-0, 2-0. They are at Texas. Oh, Texas has got to be hurting. Still got to be hurting from that loss that they were controlling against Oklahoma. The Longhorns 4-2, 2-1. They've lost to Arkansas and Oklahoma. Oklahoma State is undefeated. Oklahoma State is trying to get halfway through the schedule, and they're looking at Bedlam. Right now, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are both undefeated. They're looking at Bedlam, and they may play twice if things hold. Tough game here. I guess I'll lead off. I hate to lead this one off. This is the game Oklahoma State seems to always lose. And I tell you what, I'm going to go best player on the field, Bijan Robinson. I'm going to go Texas in this, guys. At home, licking their wounds a little bit. I'll take the Longhorns, Coach Spurrier, in a good Big 12 game.
Yeah, I'm going with Texas at home. I picked them before the season started to win the Big 12.
Yes, you did.
I'm hanging with them. That was a tough loss to Oklahoma last week. But there's a lot of games left, so I'll go with the Longhorns.
That, by the way, before Shane gets his pick, that's a noon kickoff on Fox. Boy, there's a lot of very watchable noon games tomorrow. There are good games throughout the day. Georgia, of course, we'll talk about in a moment, is 3:30 CBS and some of those night games. But, man, it's a good noon time slot tomorrow. Shane, Big 12 game. This has got Oklahoma State loses this game every year written all over it. How do you see it?
I'm taking the Cowboys. They're flying under the radar. I think Texas Sark's done a good job with them. I think they're a couple of years away.
Well said.
I think Gundy and his crew win this game.
Well said. So, Shane, if you have a big week, it's going to be because of your Ole Miss and Oklahoma State picks. Shane, you may pick up a couple
I also
games
picked the
there.
Miami Hurricanes for some reason.
Took Miami.
They've been very impressive lately, haven't they, Shane?
Oh yeah, I think the last time they played, they beat like Central Connecticut State or somebody.
Yeah, about 4 weeks ago it feels like. Seems like they hadn't played in years. Well, Shane, you're down for Miami. I'll let you change. You got 2 more picks to change it, and then it's in for good. 2 more games to go. 2 more games to go. Shane, I'll let you lead off. You're heading on a plane here in a little bit toward Baton Rouge to call the game tomorrow with Mick Hubert on the Gator Radio Network. High noon, Florida 4-2, 2-2, of course. They are at LSU. The Bengal Tigers 3-3, 1-2. LSU has lost so far to UCLA, Auburn, and Kentucky. Of course, Florida has lost to a couple pretty good football teams, Alabama and Kentucky as well. Shane, I think the last time Florida was there, they brought back an SEC East Division title with a goal line stand in 2016. Florida should win the game. They're a double-digit favorite. LSU, they were fractured last year coming into Gainesville. I think they're fractured and some more this year at home. How do you see tomorrow's big game?
I think we win the game. I think we're going to play well. As you mentioned, LSU's got a lot of issues, not only just people injured and whether they're really injured or they're opting out or what, but it's a lot of turmoil over there. So I think, the early game, I think, waking up, pregame meal, straight to the stadium and play favors the Gators. So I think Florida wins this by a couple of touchdowns.
I'm quickly down for Florida as well. Coach, how do you see
I
Florida?
think we all see it that way. We're going to be playing at noon, and LSU actually is going to be playing at 11 o'clock. Do you know that?
Their time, yeah.
I remember I used to tell Shane probably to tell our guys, don't change your clock. We'll just move everything up an hour on the schedule, but we're still at 12 o'clock and let the central area team be at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, so obviously Florida across the board. Coach, you think Florida, good, solid performance tomorrow? I mean,
yeah, I hope so. I'm still wondering what's going to happen with Anthony Richardson, how much he'll play, and I'd like to see him get his hands on the ball just somewhere here or there. Doesn't have to be a quarterback, maybe one of those little wide receiver screens, something of that nature. But time will tell. But he's a talent, and I think the coaching staff are going to use him here pretty soon.
Shane, before we get to our final game, we'll get you out of here. Quick synopsis: how do you see that game playing out in Baton? Kind of theory. LSU, boy, they don't have LSU running backs. Their backs don't look good. They've had trouble all over offense. A lot of defensive guys gone. Florida should be able to do, I think, both pass and run against them, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I agree. I just, when you watch LSU, and I thought they would play and probably beat Kentucky last week, but they don't look anywhere like normal LSU teams. LSU usually gets off the bus and you just like, whoa.
Look great. Yeah.
They don't have that type of player on their rosters right now.
I'm stunned at watching. Now watch tomorrow. They'll have a back go for 200 yards. Everybody will blame me. Just watching the 2 or 3 LSU running backs that have carried the ball this year, they don't look anywhere. They don't even look SEC worthy. They look slow. They don't look. Nobody's got to move. Nobody has quickness. I'm just stunned at the LSU backs.
I heard on the radio LSU rushing offense is like 127th in the nation, something like that.
LSU.
Yeah. LSU.
Unreal. Final game is the big one. We thought LSU Florida October 16th would be the huge SEC game of the week. Not the case. It has been moved to the back burner. The big boy game tomorrow, and we will know a lot about both teams when this thing is over. The Georgia Bulldogs at home, ranked number 1 in the nation. They are 6-0, 4-0 in conference play. They will host Kentucky. The Wildcats also 6-0, 4-0. Kentucky, a couple defensive players are out from their defensive line. Kentucky has to leave Lexington. It seems like they played every game at home. They leave Lexington. Coach Spurrier, I'll let you lead it off. 3:30, CBS, the SEC game of the week, and probably the national game of the week. 11th ranked Kentucky on the road at Georgia.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to take the Georgia Bulldogs, probably our biggest rival here at Florida, I think. And I think Georgia may win something like 45-3.
Big. Wow, 45-3. Shane, follow that up.
And their ballpark's going to be full, too.
92,000 and some. Falling out of that place. They're going to be packed in so much. Shane, Kentucky, great season so far. 6-0. They've got a good, tough football team. It does seem like Kentucky's played every game at night in Lexington. They go to the big marquee CBS time slot at Athens. That's asking a lot. How do you see it?
Man, I think Kentucky season is they're gonna come to reality. I watched that. I got to see Kentucky in person, and I just thought we played a bad game. We didn't coach great, and I didn't think Kentucky was that great. I just think Georgia's gonna manhandle them somehow. I'm thinking like a 34-3 type game. Yeah. I could be 100% wrong. But I just think Georgia's got way too much, especially with it being in Athens.
Coach, you said 45-3.
45-3.
Shane's got 35-3. Yeah, I'm along. I'm taking Georgia as well. And probably the same prescription as the Auburn game last week. And I think we all had the same theory, and it played out. I thought Auburn would hang around a little bit, but Georgia would slowly squeeze the life out of Auburn, and it got away. Probably that same kind of game. I think Kentucky may hang around. The key is Kentucky's got to rush the football, and I don't know how you do it against the front seven of Georgia. Shane, thank you, buddy. I know you're trying to get squared away, get onto a plane, and have a good call tomorrow on the Gator Radio Network, Florida and LSU. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
That is Shane Matthews with our Safe Harbor Seafood Picks of the Week. Coach, we'll let you get out of here as we go to break. Anything we're missing, anything we need to hit, we'll go ahead and take the headphones off. Anything we're missing, Coach, you wanted to hit going into the weekend?
No, I think we've covered pretty much college football right now. The Big Ten is certainly a conference that has done extremely well, and they've got a few more big games. But what really impresses me this year is all these sellout crowds at the stadiums. And the home crowd is just going wild. And there's a lot of teams that are excelling that maybe haven't in a while, like Iowa and Michigan.
Sure.
So it's neat to see all these big crowds everywhere.
They have. You can tell they missed something that they loved a year ago because they are back in droves. We appreciate it. We ran out of time here, but we'll do it in the next couple of weeks. Boy, the Heisman Trophy is just kind of out there. The Heisman Trophy, Bryce Young had the lead, and then, they lost a game. He didn't play terrible, but they lost a game. That Heisman Trophy is just kind of, somebody's going to get in there and grab it, but right now it's wide open.
Yeah, it's wide open. It really is. And Sunday morning, the Jags play at 9:30, correct? That? So we'll get to watch them all without any conflict with any other games. And
in-state game. You got how about Jacksonville, Florida, Miami, Florida, 8-hour flight, a million miles away to play a game in London.
Yeah, the Jags need to get this one. I think they'll get Miami in London.
There's a lot of talk that this is the winnable game. The Dolphins are only 1-5, I think, and they're not playing very good as well. Coach, we appreciate it. We'll get out of here. We'll come back on the other side, hit a few more topics in college football. Don't go anywhere. We're wrapping up a Friday edition of College Sports Today.
Ever heard the saying, all politics are local? I believe the same goes for lawyers. To me, it doesn't matter how many lawyers any firm has spread across the country. What matters is who's the lawyer right here, right now. I'm Bill Allen. I've spent my whole career fighting big insurance companies for my friends and neighbors right here in North Central Florida. If you've been hurt and don't know who to trust, I would be honored to help you and your family against any opponent, anytime, anywhere. Call me 24/7.
All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
It's time to thank the sponsors that make College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle possible. Vida de Luis Tequila, the official tequila of College Sports Today. Make sure you ask for Vida de Luis Tequila by name in your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida. And of course, with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle can be found up and down the Northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development. Go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvelle, simply shoot me an email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvelle, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Back here wrapping up a Friday edition of College Sports Today from the Future Home Loans Studios. You see them right there on screen. And we also want to thank our title sponsor. Boy, we've been really pleased with our relationship with Allen Law Firm, the Allen Law Firm based out of Gainesville and Ocala, offices in Gainesville and Ocala, serving the entire state of Florida. If, unfortunately, you or someone you know has been in an accident or been injured, the quickest way to speak to the experts at Allen Law Firm is very simple. Pick up your phone and hit pound yes. Again, pound YES gets you right through to Allen Law Firm. They'll be glad to discuss your situation with you. That's what they're there for. Pound YES gets you through to Allen Law Firm. Thank you again to Future Home Loans and all of our sponsors that make it happen. You see them right there. Vida de Louis, of course, ask for it by name all throughout the state of Florida. If your favorite bar or restaurant doesn't have it, you tell them they need to get it. The best tequila, the official tequila of College Sports Today, is Vida de Louis. Also, it is served right here inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grille, where we're broadcasting from the Coach Spurrier podcast room, also known as the Future Home Loans Studios. Thanks to everybody. You see them all. JB Coxwell Contracting, Sliders Oyster Bar, weeks away from reopening. Total renovation. You're going to love the new and improved sliders. And, of course, we just wrapped up our Safe Harbor Seafood Picks of the Week. Great locations, 2 locations of Safe Harbor Seafood. The brand new one, now about a year old now, in Crescent Beach, and the original in Mayport, which also has a marketplace. You can not only go and eat and sit down and eat that great seafood, but you can also shop the marketplace and take it home to your freezer and have great seafood all year round at the house. Thanks to Coach Spurrier and Shane Matthews. Of course, they do a great job. We have a lot of fun with the picks contest we do. The picks every week and the contest. We're 3 up. Shane and I are 3 up on Coach Spurrier, so it's still anybody's ball game. Couple topics before we get out of here. Number one, thank you for watching on Facebook Live and YouTube. Make sure you follow College Sports Today. And we also always want to remember and thank our podcast listeners on all the leading podcast platforms. You can follow the show at your discretion, and obviously on Facebook, you can follow the show, College Sports Today, as you're watching. If you miss any of the show, you can always go to the archive section and rewatch, and also share. That helps us tremendously. A couple things to hit before we get out of here. Interesting quarterback situations, I think, at Oklahoma and Georgia. Oklahoma's going to be a lot of fun to track. Lincoln Riley got a little testy this week about who's going to start. Caleb Williams, he came in and led Oklahoma on like 8 straight scoring drives. Spencer Rattler was benched for the second time in his 2-year career. I don't know how you cannot run Williams back out there to start their next game. Interesting quarterback situation. And then what happens if Williams starts the rest of the year at Oklahoma? Spencer Rattler, everybody's preseason favorite to win the Heisman, would be riding the bench. Then we go into what I think is going to be one of the great topics for college football for the rest of ever, is the portal. Could you ever imagine talking about Spencer Rattler maybe portaling out of Oklahoma, depending on how the rest of the season plays? Who saw that coming? Also, quarterback situation that will be maybe worth tracking, Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs. How can you not continue to start Stetson Bennett? I mean, the way Georgia's playing, you would not be smart to do anything to rock the boat. You've got to continue playing Stetson Bennett until and if needed a change. But if you're JT Daniels, my goodness, I know he's been hurt a lot over 2 years, but he didn't come here to sit on the bench. He didn't go to Athens to sit on the bench. Interesting what will develop the rest of the way at the quarterback position, because Stetson Bennett, the way that team is playing and the way they seem to respond to Stetson Bennett, how can you not put the football in his hands until he plays his way out of the lineup? Interesting to track. Quarterback situation, Georgia, quarterback situation at Oklahoma, and depending on how it plays, certainly in the off season, interesting to track as we go. I was waving there to Coach Spurrier as he's heading out on a Friday doing some more work. We appreciate his time here on the show. A couple other thoughts. Coach Spurrier talked about the Big Ten at the very end of our pick segment a moment ago. Not much Big Ten talk this week because there aren't any real marquee games. They had a lot of marquee games the last couple of weeks, did the Big Ten, particularly Iowa and Penn State. But this is just one of those weeks we didn't forget about the Big Ten. There's just not a huge game or two they kind of take a little bit of a step back, and then they'll get right back into it as the season plays out. Remember now, there's a lot of intrigue with Michigan undefeated, Michigan State undefeated, Iowa undefeated, Ohio State getting better every single week, Penn State, really good football team. I feel for Penn State. They would have beaten Iowa. They were beating Iowa's butt pretty good, I thought, through the second quarter until Clifford, the starting quarterback, went down. I think Penn State starting quarterbacks both playing. Penn State's a better team. Iowa took advantage of it and won the game at home, but I thought Penn State, I feel for them. I thought they were maybe going to blow Iowa out as that game was taking its personality. I thought Penn State was dominating that game until their quarterback got hurt. Cincinnati, I brought this up last week. They're in a unique situation. Cincinnati, undefeated. They've moved up to third right now in the polls. They are at the mercy of some teams, and you hate to be at the mercy of some teams. Some teams you play or you've already played, but you hate to be at the mercy of teams. Cincinnati has played and defeated Notre Dame. That's their marquee win. Notre Dame now 14th in the nation. Cincinnati needs Notre Dame to win every game they play from here on out. They need Notre Dame to win. They need that marquee win to look better and better and better. So Cincinnati needs Notre Dame to keep winning. Cincinnati needs 23rd ranked SMU to keep winning because they play at SMU in the regular season. They need to put the one and only loss on SMU. They want SMU to win everything except when they play them so they can have another ranked win. And Cincinnati needs Houston. The Cougars only have one loss. Houston and Cincinnati could play in the championship game. Houston, if they keep winning, they're going to get ranked. That would give Cincinnati another ranked team. So the Bearcats need help, but I think that's normal if you're not in a Power 5 conference. And finally, the Heisman Trophy. We touched on it with Coach Spurrier a moment ago. Boy, the Heisman Trophy. It's starting to get late now for nobody to have a clear hand on the trophy right now. It looked like Bryce Young early. Not that he played bad, because I think he played pretty damn good, but his team lost that national, everybody was watching game to A&M the other Saturday night. The Heisman Trophy is sitting right out there for somebody. Right now, probably your 3 or 4 or 5 names in the Heisman this week. I think Matt Corral's got to be up there. Matt Corral just puts up great numbers. He's a passer and a runner. He's got great numbers. Corral would be up there. Bryce Young is still up on the Heisman consideration list. This Kenny Pickett, if you haven't seen the guy from Pitt, he's putting up huge numbers. Their offense is putting up huge numbers. I think he's got to be a factor. And Walker, the running back from Michigan State, leading the nation by a mile in yards per game and yards per carry. Walker will have some marquee games. If Michigan State keeps winning, you got to believe the star will keep shining on Kenneth Walker, the transfer from Wake Forest to Michigan State. Just some things in college football to keep an eye on. That'll just about wrap things up here on a Friday. We appreciate all you folks for watching and listening here. We also want to thank, of course, Evan Miller producing, Shane Matthews, and Coach Steve Spurrier, who were on earlier with our Safe Harbor Seafood picks of the week. That'll do it. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon here on a Friday, and also make sure, or late morning going into afternoon on a Friday, and enjoy your college football Saturday. A lot of good games starting at high noon. Remember, you can catch our very own Shane Matthews on The Call with Mick Hubert all over the Gator Network tomorrow, Florida at LSU. Have a great weekend. We'll do it again Monday, 11 a.m., the next edition of College Sports Today.